Good day, OA. My name is Lionel Garcia, and I'm your VP of Sales and Agent Development. And I'm excited because it is Monday. Yes, I know it is Monday, but I am still excited because every Monday I get to present to you our Motivation Monday. And this week is special because, as I promised you, we want to focus on the pathway to luxury and what makes luxury unique. And so we do have a special guest, and her name is Andrea Wright. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Lionel. How are you?
Fantastic. So, Andrea, we have some people live watching us. There's going to be people watching it on the replay. If you don't know Andrea, haven't met Andrea, she is our Vice President of Luxury and oversees our Opulence division at Outside Agents. And it's so great to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Excited, of course, to talk about luxury anytime.
This is great. Well, for what's really interesting is that luxury, people sometimes think of price point or think of a specific market, but the truth is luxury is true. It could be a mindset. It could be how people think. So one of the questions that always come up, I forgot the most important part. We always start with our wins of the week. So I got excited to talk about luxury, and I forgot of our wins of the week. And so I do this every Monday. You would think I would know by now, Andrea, that this is
That's
what I
okay.
do.
We're
We
excited.
go,
It's Monday. We're
we
excited.
go,
Let's talk about the
we,
wins. Okay.
so I want to know. I know you had a really awesome week
I
last
did.
week. Can you tell me about it?
Yes, I did. So I was in Cannes, in France, last week, attending the ILTM luxury conference, and it is one of the biggest and best luxury conference worldwide in the industry because it has over 4,500 incredible luxury suppliers. And I left there so energized and so excited because I knew I was coming home with all of these exciting new partners for the Opulence brand. I connected with over, 80 in-person appointments
Oh
over
my,
those 2 days. And I was just excited because we normally can't get in front of them. They're global, they're all over the world, they're in Europe, they're in Africa, they're in Australia. And I got in front of pretty much all of the ones that I wanted to, and I'm going to work on, adding those into our incredible platform. So, yay,
but
excited.
that is awesome. And I know you have so many more things that you're working on this week as well. But for me, I don't have a professional one. I do have a personal one, and it sounds kind of boring compared to yours going to France and meeting with all these great suppliers. But I hung up light fixtures. That was my personal win,
Oh,
and we moved into a new home in June. I said, I guess new is new-ish. And my wife wants to change all these fixtures. So that was what I spent my weekend doing. And that was my win, is that I accomplished it and got it
that's
done.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's jump into what is luxury. I find this question sometimes gets very daunting because people don't understand luxury can mean different things to different people. And considering that this is a space that you really are a master in, especially in our company, can you tell us a little bit more about what's luxury?
Well, luxury has different meanings to everybody. And if we're talking about the hospitality space, luxury, I always say to different advisors, it's really more of a mindset and an experience, right? It's how somebody wants to be made to feel. It's that curated, experience that they feel that they can, experience or um, travel to, where it's something unique and it's different than everybody else, and it's a very personal feeling. You and I think talked earlier about some people thinking Starbucks is a luxury, and to many it is. People wouldn't maybe spend $5, $6, $8 on a cup of coffee when they can brew it at home, but to others they don't think much of it. So I always say luxury, whether it's, in all aspects and in hospitality, it is a mindset of delivering those experience that holds value to that buyer. And it's different for everybody.
Uh, It's true. I think it is most definitely a mindset. Suppliers, agents are all shifting to luxury. So the question is, why are they moving that way? And you kind of hit it there. We're going to really, I think, bring it home today. It's money, margins, sustainability, And I love this because you, out of all people, I think, love your job so much. It is more fun. So
Oh,
I think that
yes.
that's one
Yes.
of the ways and reasons why to go after luxury. So I wanted to talk to you about, maybe you could kind of tell me, why is luxury growing faster, and what's going on with that? I mean, I think that this is going to drive to the reasons.
Yeah. So, I mean, when people say why luxury, it is the fastest growing segment in the hospitality industry, right? So, right now, mid market has slowed down. I mean, if you look at any of the different reports, it has experienced a slowdown. Luxury hospitality is through the roof, and they don't anticipate a slowdown for the next 10 years. So, the why is pretty simple. It's the fastest growing segment, in the industry. It makes the most money. So, you're going to make more money selling luxury itineraries than selling, budget or mass market. So, right there, yeah, caught my attention. And it's also, where the clients are a little different, right? They're more loyal. They're more dedicated. You could work smarter, not harder. You can sell less of it and still make far more. So, the demand right now for luxury is so great that those advisors are busy. They're busy, with those customers. Those buyers aren't really affected by economic slowdowns, or when there's things going on, like even COVID taught us that people who wanted to take those luxury trips, they were still traveling and spending money there, and it really is attracting all different demographics right now. So the book of business is huge, and there for you.
You mentioned something, and it's so true. And you mentioned it before. You actually said it enough times that it caught my eye. And if our listeners or viewers aren't seeing it or hearing it, it's the term experiences, right? These guests are looking for that personalization. They're looking for high touch experiences, and that's what these brands now are doing, because they know that the long term value of that customer is so much greater than a customer that's looking for just a regular burn and turn kind of product. So I think you've said it best. And we talked about money, we talked about margin. Why agents should go after this? Well, it's really simple. It's in the math, and we did some mathing for those of us that are not the most math savvy. And it's real simple, right? If you're selling a $2,000 package at 10% commission, which is pretty traditional, especially when you're selling a mass market product, you're going to earn, rough number, $200. But that number changes incredibly when starting selling a luxury product. So, Andrea, highlight that, bring that point home.
Yeah, I mean, again, it comes down to, a few things that are very basic. You're going to make more money. The itineraries are much more expensive. When you start working with a luxury client and you start talking about these experience, trust me, you know, they don't stop at, a luxury transfer arrival. Then, next thing, after they're spending money on that accommodation, the luxury pickup, you put out there, hey, you can go truffle hunting. Did you know that? Well, you know what? Yeah, give me that. It's kind of like when you're at a restaurant, you're ordering food, and the waiter says, well, wait a minute, we've got some other specials. Do you want to add that to it? They want full service. So the itineraries then become a lot more expensive, which means more commission to you. And again, when we go back to it's about the experience and the mindset. When they have this incredible experience that they booked with you, most of them, statistics will show, they are already thinking about what is the next trip or experience they can book with you. So now you do the math. Now you've made that times 2 times the next one. And let me give you some more fun math. Now they've told 3 of their different friends, whether it's at their health club, at, Starbucks, wherever they're going. I just had this incredible experience. My agent booked this to me, and now the business grows and grows and grows. It is, the value honestly is there for both sides. The money is there to be made. It's a segment that is just growing so much. And I don't know if we're going to touch upon this next or not, but I'll wait to tell you how AI fits into all of this too.
Oh yeah, we'll jump in there, but I think it's, summarize it. our agents that specialize in the luxury market, they get to sell less, they earn more, and
It's more fun. It's more interesting. It's
they
more,
make more.
let's face it.
Yeah,
It's, you talk to an advisor that's been selling, you know, mid-range all-inclusives or maybe entry-level cruise, and they move over to the side and they're like, oh my, this is way more fun and exciting. Plus, you get to experience it as well.
yeah, I love it. But here's the thing. We get this question all the time. I'm sure you've heard it, maybe not as much as I know you oversee our Opulence division. So those agents are already in most cases selling luxury or selling more of those kind of products. But one of the biggest objections I hear whenever we do a training on luxury, when I have newer agents in our luxury training, they get to ask, listen, I get it. I need to sell luxury, but I don't have the customers. I don't have the clients. What do you say to that?
First of all, I hear it all the time. If I hear it, once a day, I'd be a rich person if I got $1 every time I heard it. Okay. How do you find luxury clients? Stop thinking about it that way. You don't need to find them. You already have them. Anybody that is coming to you, talking to you about travel, your book of business, they honestly, they don't know, how they say you don't know what you don't know. They're coming to you and you are to guide them to, what kind of experience they want to have. Just because somebody has done an all-inclusive in the past and maybe spent, two, three, $4,000 doesn't mean that they won't, do a luxury trip to Europe and go to Greece or, the Amalfi Coast, or maybe take a cruise that's a little bit more. Those clients that you already have, they do book luxury. They just, maybe they haven't in the past, but it's up to you to kind of educate them and say, hey, you just took this trip, you spent this amount, but did you know for this amount, you can actually go on a trip here? And you know what? Guess what? Now all of a sudden, they're in the luxury space.
Yeah.
That's number one. And number two, I find that a lot of travelers, clients, while they might not have every trip be super high-end luxury, they do have those trips. In the past, we used to call them bucket list trips, which I scratched that out because now we call them to-do lists. People aren't waiting anymore until they're retired, until, they've saved all this money. There are statistics, and you can find them out there, that tell you that younger millennials, Gen X people, they're deciding, you know what, I don't think I need to have that, $100,000 luxury car, or maybe I'm not going to move in that big house right now because I'd rather travel and have experiences. So luxury clients are all around you. And, I really want to squash that question of how do I find luxury clients? You already have them.
And I think one of the best solutions to dig where they're already fishing, right? Fish where they already fish with their existing clients, is to re-qualify their database. And I have a story that I tell during my luxury class, which is a true story that was told to me from a previous executive that I worked with. And he mentioned to me about a travel advisor that was so sad because she lost a seaborne sale. And come to find out, she was selling this grandmother that booked a family trip for everyone to go on a Carnival cruise every single year. Every year they would do the same thing. And every year, like a great travel agent that she would send out the latest and greatest Carnival itinerary. Here's the newest ship, or here's the newest thing. You should book this. Everyone come along. And sure enough, like a good grandma, she paid for everybody to go, and everything happened as it would. But sadly, you don't discover that the travel agent doesn't discover this until it's too late. The grandma lost the grandpa, lost her husband, and the husband left her with a lot of money. And that year, the daughter said to her mom, hey, mom, instead of taking all of us on this really great trip that you do every year, please go do that trip that dad never let you take on Seabourn because you've always wanted to go there. You should do it. And so, sure enough, she booked the top suite on Seabourn and went on this awesome trip. And the travel agent comes to find out about it at the grocery store of all places. They're at the grocery store and says, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Oh, I lost my husband. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And then he begins to say, yeah, but I just went on this really great trip on Seaboard. It was wonderful. And the travel agent says, well, wait, you didn't call me. Did you talk to someone in my staff, anyone in my office to help you? No, I didn't call you. I worked in Seaborn Direct because I thought you only sold Carnival. So don't be that agent. And yes, go ahead and re-qualify your customers. There's nothing wrong with doing that because the family that takes 3 trips a year, they may 1 year consolidate that and take a bigger journey and do that to-do trip.
Yeah.
So don't be
Well,
afraid to re-qualify.
yeah, and I think that's a great story, Lionel. And I'll tell you, my mother used to always say this to me: dress for the part you want, not the part you have. And I say this because when you are trying to get into luxury space, okay, we say, now you have to remember, we only have a short segment on here. So I could talk to you guys all day long about how to sell luxury. And if you let me get my hands around you, you're going to be an expert too. Trust me. But when you're looking at selling luxury, you have to do so many different things, right? You got to look the part. When I say look the part, that means if they're going to go to your social media, they're going to go to your Instagram or your Facebook, or maybe they're your emails that you're sending to them. You've got to show them other partners and other things that you sell that is in that luxury space. Because once they see that, they know, okay, wait a minute, this is my person, and I'm going to reach out to them because I have a question about an African safari, or, travel to Santorini. So you have to, being part of Opulence, and being in a luxury, platform, how that already helps you is we surround you with those luxury partners. We send you to those things. You might be at a luxury, fam opportunity, or a luxury symposium. And when they start seeing you with all of these high-end luxury partners, they start to look at you as an expert. And now people will start coming to you, right? That's one part. Again, you reach out to the clients you have. And then the third part is you start strategizing. Maybe at the health club, you start talking to them about, hey, you see people playing pickleball, the perfect place to have, a pickleball, group go. So there's so many different components to this. Again, for a much longer discussion that we can help you with.
Yeah.
But all of these things working together will make sure that not only do you keep the clients you have, attract newer ones, right? You attract newer ones, and you keep growing and growing and growing on that.
I want to show you don't get to see this because I'm the one driving and I get the production stuff, but we have some people commenting. First off, we had Clarice say that she just booked she won a trip and wait, my win is a booking portion of my Oahu trip using 2 free nights. So she is staying at the Ritz Carlton, so she hopes that this jump starts her pathway to luxury. So that's exciting, Clarice. Migdalia loves the information, so I think we're doing a good job of motivating them. Andrea says yes. Scott Lara says truth. So that's
Right.
exciting. Here we got Michelle also saying so true. I love this here. Tara is saying, "Oh my God, I needed this." And then we also have Marcus. Thank you. I need to look the part.
I love all these people. I
I love
recognize
it.
their names. Okay, I
Yeah,
want to say
yeah,
hello to all of them because I know their names. And the other thing too, Lionel, I know I'm just jumping in here. When you're talking about luxury guys, again, people would say to me, "Well, do we all have to, look a certain part or be like, whatever, a look exactly like, what you see in the different ads or whatever?" Look, yes, luxury is a look. There is a look to it. I said this once when I was doing a training in the office for the pathway to it. If you were going to want to lose weight and you went to a gym, you would look at two different instructors. And if somebody's really fit and, thin and got muscle in this versus somebody who's a little portly and out of shape or whatever, who would you pick to help you on that journey? Well, you would pick the one who is fit, right?
the one that
If
looks
you
like the one I want to look like.
if you are thinking, I want luxury, look, you don't have to be a certain age. You don't have to be young or old. You don't have to be, thin or fit or buff, but you have to look like you know what luxury is, right? And that
Yeah.
is honestly, you're not going to get away from that. Whether it's, maybe a few cool pictures you have on your social media. Look, I'm wearing my Christian Dior scarf. There's a ton of dupes out there that you can get, but you have something that hey, I'm actually, I look and walk and talk the part of luxury. And when you get with a luxury supplier, you kind of build upon that. So great job on all of those things. But
I think we're going to talk more about it, especially on the motivation moment when we talk about how they can do it. Because I know that we'll jump in. I know a question that comes up, especially when it comes to luxury sometimes, and even some of the newer advisors. I've been seeing it in our neighborhood group. They're really nervous about AI, and I
want to answer
don't
this.
understand. So I want you to tell me: are you concerned about AI? What does it mean? Tell me more.
All right. Okay, AI. I'm going to tell it to you guys straight, just like this. In luxury, no reason to be nervous about it. I'll tell you who can be nervous about it. In budget and mass market, those guys, yeah, you should be nervous about it. And I'll tell you why. It's not that difficult to book an entry-level trip, right? An all-inclusive or an entry-level cruise. A lot of people are going to be moving into AI. But in luxury, you have to embrace AI and look at it as just pure assistance, right? Use it to help you learn, understand. And I say this, AI is speed to market. It's just speed. It's helping you gather information much quicker. But your clients, they're not going to spend thousands of dollars to trust AI. They still know the value. It's a mindset, right? I started off saying luxury is all about a mindset. What do those clients want? They want someone that's taking care of them, that understands them, that asks them what they want, that knows about the experiences, and they know you've been there. They can't get that from AI. So, am I concerned about AI? Not a chance. And you shouldn't be either.
Yeah, I think it's true because at the end of the day, AI cannot replace the human touch. So we got to remember that we're the part of that. We're the personalization part. We're the human touch, and no computer can replace that, especially when transacting with something so valuable like these type of trips. Humans are important. So let's jump in to why or how does OA help our agents grow in this space? I could address that and say that we do have, it's all about tools, it's about access, and it's about training here at OA. And so we do have a luxury training in our LMS. We do have an in-person training here in Jacksonville that we do, and this year's is taking place in May, where we have training specific to how to find, where to source, how to communicate in the luxury space, how to do events to draw the luxury client. But then we also pair you up with some really phenomenal suppliers that we have. However, Andrea, the reason why I have you on is I want to talk to you about what is OA's answer to luxury, and what did OA do to speak to the advisors that we already had, and to now soon future advisors that are looking to grow in the luxury space.
Yeah. So I'm the perfect person to answer this because I used to be a supplier, and my biggest question all the time when I was trying to work with outside agents, which is, the best in the industry. There's so many advisors, right? I mean, 11,000 advisors. When you are a luxury supplier, you don't have the time nor the want to dig through 11,000 advisors to find who are the ones that are focusing on luxury, that have the client base, that want to sell my product. As an advisor, if I'm selling luxury or I want to learn more and I want to connect more with the luxury partners, there wasn't a place to go. So we created Opulence by Outside Agents to have this platform for our members that really want to grow in that space, right? They have a willingness to learn more about luxury. They want to be connected with luxury partners. They want to come to city events where they can sit there and talk to them and strategize and create marketing plans. They want to come to our symposiums. They want to be part of our quarterly virtual connections that we do. We have so much in this membership, in this program, that connects you, that creates a strong community around you, where you can collaborate with like-minded individuals and just keep growing your luxury travel, because that's our whole focus, is luxury. And we bring that all to you and make it very simple for you to grow in that space. I will say, Lionel, if I can throw this for everybody that might be in it, have a question, whatever. We have seen, now you have to remember, I mean, we're what, a year and a half into our launch and membership with Opulence. We have seen so much success from advisors that came in thinking, all right, well, I want to learn so much more about luxury. I haven't had a ton of experience in it. I'm selling it, but I want to do more. Honestly, increase their sales from, $400,000 annually a year to over a million, 0.3. I just looked at an advisor that just hit that. But the growth is so incredible because of the mentorship, the partnership, the collaboration and the exposure. And like I said, the money's there to make more money. So we offer luxury to you on a silver platter.
So I love that. And so what I want to do, because sadly I have 4 minutes and 10 seconds left before
We need
we're
all day. Who's
reading
with
at
me?
the 30-minute mark. But I want to show you, just in case, if anyone watching this wants to learn more, they can go to OutsideAgents.com. They can go down to, oh my goodness, I just had it here, learn more, luxury travel. And here's all the information on Opulence. And you could fill out the info request form here. And you'll be in touch with either Andrea or one of her staff to help you. So that's my little pitch for what we have going on with Opulence. Let's jump into our motivation moment. And our motivation moment is pretty simple. I think it makes a lot of sense. And that is, can you sell luxury? Andrea, what's the answer to that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And do you have the clients? What do you say to that?
Yes, you do. You have the clients. You have the clients.
So, so
You have the
the more,
clients. You can sell luxury. And remember, luxury is a mindset. And if you have the willingness to sell luxury and grow in that space, we have the tools and the
yeah.
resources to get you there. And I'm confident that we could do that. So if you want luxury, call me.
I love
Talk
it.
to us.
So I know that you've referred to this as kind of like going to school or being in a university,
Yes.
because the truth is, the more they learn, the more they work in this space, the more success they're going to have. So kind of bring that home with that. You told an example of going to school. I think it makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense.
So, when people say I'm nervous because I don't have experience in this yet, first of all, nobody's born out of the womb with experience in anything. There's always a first time to get into it and start. And when you go to university, the whole plan behind it is that you are going to study. You have this eagerness and willingness to learn. You're going to be working with like-minded people, right? They're all taking the same major and you're learning and sharing from each other. And then you graduate and you are ready to go and get out there and be successful all along the way. That is what Opulence by Outside Agents will do for you. We will help you. We will motivate you. We will teach you and we will get you there so that you can grow in that space, in the fastest growing space in the industry, and continue to be making money.
I love it. So here's my call to action to you. You're watching this is I'd love for you to drop your biggest win, luxury win. Like I love the fact of that agent who's booked herself at a Ritz-Carlton in Hawaii. So what is your largest luxury win? What niche are you looking to specialize in? How are you going to deliver those personalized things? How are you going to go after experiences? So don't be afraid. Tag us at OutsideAgents.com and tell us how you plan to take your brand next. Every single week, I also have a quote of the day. And so, Andrea, see, darn it, I got to close this message. My next meeting is starting in 2 minutes. All right, hold on. So, the quote of the day is that luxury wins where it matters: experience, personalization, and value. If you can deliver all three, your brand will elevate itself. So, and that's something that in talking to you, you shared. I thought that was really neat. And so, Andrea, I want to say, hold on, there was something that I made sure that you said.
Oh, live it, love it, get out there and sell
Yes,
it.
you
Yeah.
got it. I need you. I want to say thank you to those who've been watching this. Thank you, Andrea, really for taking us to the next level and what you're doing with Opulence and what you're doing with all of us. But I want you to kind of any last words to those watching.
Yeah, I just want to say you guys can all do it. I told Lionel earlier, you got to live it, love it, get out there and sell it. It's there for
I
you
love
and
it.
we're here for you. So I'm excited to watch your success and we can help you. And I'm thrilled. Thank you so much for having me as a guest and
I
happy
love it.
Motivation Monday. Let's do it.
Yes, thank you. Have a great week, Andrea. Have a great week, all of you watching, and I'll see you next week on Monday. See
Yeah.
ya. Bye.
Bye.